man should always stand up and take his place. Now, responding to that call from society to stand up and take his place is a very stalwart young man who goes by the name of Akeem Mignott, who will be stepping in today's frame for us to hear more about how he's taking his place here in society. Akeem, welcome and thank you for sitting down with me for this chat.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm
Awesome.
honored.
Awesome. So, I always want to start at the beginning for us. So, there are so many hats that you wear. And so, before we get into all the many hats that you're wearing,
Yeah, we can't catch cold. We're not gonna catch
no,
cold.
I hope not. Please and thanks, because we don't want to sniffle.
No.
Right? And we don't want to think it's long COVID.
Right.
We don't want to go back to the days of mask. So we just want to start from the beginning. How did Akeem get started as a creative? And notice my choice of word. It's creative.
Creative. To be honest, I mean, we're going as far back as it was high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went to the Bridgeport High School in Portmore. I started out doing the sciences mostly. I love the sciences, biology,
Really?
favorites. I was almost sure I was going to be a doctor. And I think it was when, I think it's grade 10, a teacher came there for just a few months, filling in for another teacher there. And I guess she saw something in me just by doing regular drama classes. Because Bridgeport is a stream school, so the classes in the top streams, they didn't do certain subjects. And drama wasn't offered to us to do, especially as a vocation at the time.
Discrimination.
Yes.
This is Bridgeport.
Listen, they're better now, I'm sure. They're better now.
I know, they have a
No, them kill me.
yes.
But that was back, yeah.
So.
So I think so, yeah, so they didn't, so certain, yeah, we had the option of choosing other subjects because of a stream school. So I wasn't even considering to do drama. And this teacher came and in drama class she saw something in me and she said, you know, you want to enter in a drama festival, and I'm like, what is that? I mean, I'm sure, I think when I was in like basic school, I went to JCDC, but that's, you know, I had no recollection of that. So she said, okay, she's going to enter with a piece. Charles had Puppy Love. When was a boy, from his When Was a Boy book, and I did Puppy Love. She rehearsed with me, and I'm like, all right, I trusted her, and I went, got a goal, and I'm like, wait, voila! From, you know, me can do drama and get goal and on football and on sports, and I get goal for something, I love this. So that's where it started. From there I started sticking closely to her, and you know, being a part of the drama club. Then she entered us in another competition called the Secondary Schools Drama Festival, and then we won. And from there, you know, I was selected to be in the Jamaica Youth Theatre, spearheaded at the time by Carolyn Allen, Aston Cook, the late Aston Cook, and Quindell Ferguson. So I got to be a part of that, and then my career took off from that. It was from then, that's when I started doing it. And even when I was doing it, I switched. So I was doing the sciences, biology, and then I switched out because she was like, you know, she just had an impact on me.
Right.
And I was so inspired by her and how passionate she was for her work. And her name is Latoya Scott. And she's also a pastor.
Miss Scott, big up yourself.
Big up yourself, Miss Scott.
I think she's at Charlie Mount.
Yes, big up yourself. So she changed my life, you know, and kind of like really propelled me into this direction of being a performer and a creative. And when I started doing, she encouraged me to do CXC theatre arts at the time because I wasn't going to do that. And then I added it to my, you know, to round out to the 11 subjects. Got a 1 in it. But then, you know, we used to create, we used to write, and that's, you know, she taught us how to write plays and perform plays, and you know, the criteria for CXC, the requirements for CXC, improvisation, play making, all of that. And I was just, you know, enthralled in this world of theatre and creating and, you know, living for the applause. I mean, you know, performing and people, you know, clapping and feeling so good. And I think that's...
You became a star early.
A star. That's relative. But yeah, from that time, from high school, and then that was, the rest is history. The rest is honestly history. And then I left high school, came straight to the Enderman College, did my 4 years, my BA in drama and education. And from there, went into teaching for a few years, and yeah, but all the time I was acting. I was acting. I think I did my first small recurring role in a movie called Get Alive.
Yes, I remember.
By Chris Brown. I got a small, that was a thug. And I was in grade 10.
At the time?
So at the time, so that I just started working with her, and I was in grade 10 and I was in a part in a movie, like, what movie? So it was, all the rewards were really, really encouraging, and I think that really, kind of sweetened the labor a bit, and there was no looking back for me at all. And I think being at Enderman, that really, really molded me to be a creative person, honing my skills in playwriting, in directing, in acting and performing. And then, of course, I was also doing that on the Jamaican, the Jamaican theatre industry as well. Because from the movie I came here acting. I think the first year when I came here, I was in a play called my first commercial play, getting paid to do a play. Don't know if I can say that because I was.
Because they were supposed to. That's against regulations.
I think I was in first year.
Yes, at first year. But that's against regulations at that time to be in school in first year and doing commercial theatre.
Oh, right, at school. Okay, true. No, I was thinking it was a government thing.
No.
Look, a child was like 16 or so. I wasn't a minor, guys. Wasn't a minor. So, it was at the time. But then, the difference with me at the time, I went to have a word with the director at the time, which was Eugene Williams. I had a discussion with him. I spoke to him and I'm like, sir, this is a situation. I need money. I'm in this production. I'm already, rehearsing for it, and I am to start September. So, I heard that we're not supposed to. And, he spoke to me and he said, well, this is true. It's an effective process that we're doing here. But, I already a party that I can't ask, it would be unfair for me to ask to leave. And then, I did it, and then that turned into several other plays.
Yes.
I didn't turn back from them.
And right through the process, because I remember when I met you, you were about third or fourth year, somewhere there.
Which production did we meet at first? Was it Bacayard?
No, it was. I was either Bacayard or Jamaica Torati. It was
I think it was Jamaica Torati.
Yes.
I think that's where. Still at
That's
the
what
was at the whole time. But the thing is, and funny enough, the thing is, the advice that was given, and is that they don't handcuff you. It was always said that it was advised. It was advised, strongly advised, that you don't do things outside while studying at Enderman because it can affect your process.
Yes, it does.
And some people get flipping and they may not take them aside. But I've never really cared for that. I'm going to be honest with you. My thing was once me up on the stage I performed, that's good enough for me. People will recognize the face and be like, yo, one day I show me love. But I like the excitement. The excitement wasn't for me.
So. But I understand how that works, because if the tune already match up in Akeem, think about it, you go on the stage, you give us stellar performance, naturally the audience is going to come, so they like to come.
It's true, but then something that's, and I'm sure, that not everybody loves the excitement. We like to do our thing and we perform because, it's a craft and we're doing it and we're providing entertainment, but we don't look outside of that.
Right,
Remember, you have Akeem the actor, Akeem the artist, Akeem the creative, and then Akeem
the person.
And outside of that, we cannot deal with the excitement. So I love the vibe, and that's one of the things I remember. Years ago when I was hosting Dancing Dynamite, I literally remember looking at that was us hosting a dancing program, but it was putting on, and that was me. All right, guys, welcome to the show. You're done right away, Akeem. And then I'm like,
oh yeah.
Just come back home. You know what I mean? I know, and I'm a fun lover, and I love to party and enjoy myself, but you can't do the excitement all the time. But yeah, that was my journey as a creative. But
awesome.
in the college, really, really gave me the training in theory and practice that I needed to really inspire others. As an educator and as an actor.
In the same way you were inspired.
Because while it was beneficial to be doing theatre outside, it also helped that I was getting the goods, the training of the Stanislavski methodology and
so tell me then, Akeem, because your story, it's not unique to you, but it's also a unique story in the sense that it is not always easy to balance academics and stardom. And I'm using stardom here kind of loosely, in the sense that you are getting all of these different skills during the training, because you came in not having the training in the college, but you had some amount of experience, or you were about to get some amount of experience. So here you are getting this training, the kind of skills, the kinds of tools, and at the same time you are practicing commercially. So tell me, how is it that you believe that doing the training in conjunction with the practicing commercial space, knowing that commercial theatre is also different from how the training happens, how is it that the two are kind of worked for you in terms of how well you were able to do in those plays commercially while you were still a student?
And I'll tell you this, I think it's very important. And I mean, I don't want to get into, how things are now at, drama school or even at Edna Manley. But when you look at other schools, and I don't want to get myself in trouble, as a lecturer as well, but, when you look at other schools, and I look at my TV, I see musicians from the School of Music on Smile Jamaica performing, on bands performing, and they're encouraged to do that. They go there, people see them, they go on tour. I mean, I think the responsibility is on you, the person, to know that to be able to balance certain things. And I think things has, a little bit changed now, and I think it's because those who are in administration, they kind of see the benefits of it. But how it worked for me was that I had to have been, I had to be getting the training as well as being out there. Because that relationship is very important. As you know, that most of these producers in the Jamaica theatre industry, they usually use people who they trust, or people who come strongly recommending. They hardly ever do auditions. Hardly.
That is true.
They don't, let me audition and get some upcoming talent. No, they'll be like, they see you in a play and they reach out to you, get the contact. How you miss for work with? Yeah, man, I'm alright for work with, alright, and then work with you. So it's that trust thing, and it's because, you have a lot of playhouses and a lot of groups. I wouldn't want to say cliques, but you have a lot of groups and they stick to their own. And they use the same type of people, which can be a little bit detrimental.
It is, but it's also understandable because theatre is also about synergy.
Yeah.
And in order to form and build that synergy, you have to always be working together.
With the same people. So that really helped me. And by the time I was supposed to graduate in 2014, I was already forging relationships with outside producers. So by the time I was finished, I would have easily been casted in several plays after I graduated. And I think that is something that can really needs to happen. Students who are studying at the School of Drama, in my opinion, I think there should be some public conversation, some dialogue or communication happening with practitioners who are in the industry working now, and coming to see the plays. I think more of them should come and see the plays. Have conversation probably with the directors and be like, okay, this young man was in the production. Can he volunteer, come and do an internship in my theatre company? And there should be that trust to know that there are criteria that I have to follow and strict things. And it should be okay to be like, okay, I give you a chance and you come here and do that. And I think you probably fail that course. But I think it's very important because you cannot be a star just at drama school. And then when they leave, what? Nobody knows that you're a star. I always say to my students, when I was teaching at St. Catherine High School for a stint, and they have such a good, to date I have not seen a theatre arts program like that. They have a group of 30 odd kids. They do music, they do dance, they put on a production every year at the school. And it's like the kids are so good. But nobody really know. But when it's a theatre art, you don't hear St. Catherine outside, you hear about probably Ardennes or some of those other you'll hear about those other school campion. You care about that for theatre and performance. You don't hear about St. Catherine now, but we say when I always bother out of school and when I start out of school and I start out the door. So it's the same sentiment. At drama school, you're getting the good training, you're getting the training needed to not just go on stage and entertain, but to really know what you're doing and to understand what comes with that. But you need to also network. I believe you need to network in order to know your net worth. If you don't know what value you have out there.
That is true.
So I think something should happen. I'm not sure what it could manifest in.
I understand, and you mentioned School of Music, but it's also something that has to do with programming that is going to have to do with that, because the truth is a number of what happens, some of who are in School of Music, they do individual instruments. Drama, on the other hand, is not individual, and so when you think of somebody who's already outside there in a production, learning scripts, going to rehearsal, it impacts what they're doing inside in terms of the groups that they're working with, carving the time for rehearsals, and you also know how time-consuming rehearsals and productions can be at the School of Drama.
But you know what?
So it's a difficult balance that you also have to strike, and then sometimes some people will make a choice. And sometimes when they make the choice, it may not always be a choice that maybe favors others but themselves. So it's not that it's not doable, but it is a very tricky line that we also have to cross. I agree. But I think open a Pandora's kind of box.
True.
And then you find yourself with something that becomes uncontrollable. So there has to be structure.
I agree.
And there has to be a system.
100%. So that's why I'm thinking there should be something that is probably in the program where it's delivered, because I know some of the DIE students, not the DIE, the theatre art students, they do an internship, but most of them go to a radio station,
because not all
TVJ.
Yeah, but sometimes there are no plays at the time for them to do
sometimes, but not all the times. But I don't see that. I've never gone to a play and see like an extra in the role, like a stage manager who doubles and go on the stage, and I'm like, who's that? They go to their interning from. Never. So I think that conversation should happen, and I think that won't happen. I'm not going to say that kids, you're going to study, and I'm like, go out and do your thing. No, I would never say that, because even teachers do that. When you're a teacher and an educator, which of course I double, that's another one of my profession as well. So as a teacher, if I have to go back and study, I will have to take time off. Some people do part-time doing it, but it's not easy.
It's a difficult
thing. You have to, and it's personal responsibility.
Take your time off and go and study. Don't kill yourself the way I killed myself, the way many others killed themselves. So listen to me. Take your time off, go and study so you can get the most out of your program and also keep yourself refreshed.
Agreed.
That's my advice to you, especially if you're a creative, because your hours are very long. And that's one of the things we know for a fact. And so but you're correct. But Akeem, let me just go back a little bit. So you were a part of the Jamaica Youth Theatre. And so you were under the guidance of veterans. The likes of Aston Cook, rest his peace, rest his soul, Carolyn Allen. And so what was it like though, having this kind of support right throughout your training and just your overall process to now, because you've always been guided by a teacher, then you came into training, you were a part of Jamaica Youth Theatre, so you had these veterans and professionals right throughout guiding your process. How do you believe that assisted you in terms of all of what you've accomplished to date?
It was fundamental. I don't think I could have gone through that process, still studying here, keeping my grades up, and performing sometimes by night to do it. I mean, the money helps, of course, but also learning from them, learning the industry, so that when I'm finished, I was aware of it. It wasn't like I'm trying to navigate it, but I remember even Aston Cook, who was my mentor up until he passed, he urged me, it was even being a member of the Jamaica Youth Theatre. It's a group, it's a theatre group, non-profit, we perform, we learn, we do different things, a lot of opportunities open through the group, you get commercials, other people casting plays and stuff, and we do our own shows too. But every single member, it was very, very important that we focus on our study. There was a period that we called blackout where we didn't do any productions. We were not encouraged to do any shows. It was just focused on school. We wouldn't do anything. And I think that was very important. That helped the process as well, because, I think, and as I said, I think the conversation would be good to have. It maybe, he would have probably talked to probably like a drama school, which is the premier theatre art school. Here, they could come up with a program, not to say, everybody go out and do it. To the conference, people are going to jump on and be like, man, I make money out there already. Man, it's been the necessity for the train. But if we kind of open it a little bit more and forge a relationship with the practitioners, they come watch productions, have conversations with students, know about them, probably have a mentorship program. That's a good thing in a mentorship program where they can come and talk to them, so that by time Dorraine finish and graduate Edna, I know her work. I know her style. I know her, what she want, where she want to go. So I can have a little trust and I give her a chance.
Well, maybe that's something you should start.
Maybe.
It's a conversation you
Come
should
on
start.
now.
Because we also have to make sure that we do these things without any form of exploitation happening
True.
for the students at the same time. So there's a structure. So maybe that's a thing for you to pick up and decide that, listen, let's start this. So you could probably start that conversation with the powers that
because that helped me a lot. And I, because while I'm studying here, I was acting, I was in plays, and but I do know that everybody's not me. Some people let it get to their head.
That is it.
And I think that's why they started the advice, because there was an incident I heard before, way before my time, where specific students came and they were studying and the thing get to their head and they'd be like,
that is true. You have some, and it's not only about getting to the head, but some persons aren't able to strike the balance and to keep the kind of grades, and then you have some persons who are on scholarship and you end up losing that scholarship because you can't maintain the grades because of the competing things that come with it and whatever it is. But a support system is always good, a good structure, and those things can help to minimize some of the negatives that could come with
all the
maybe a
cons.
program,
And as I said,
like that.
you're saying it, I think, as I said, a program can be, because it's not the aim to say kids go, study and go out there and do the thing, and why they're not encouraging people. We get it. We know why. We know why they're advised not to, especially earlier in their study, because they need to get that fundamental, beginning stages of it. But I think also in the latter part of their studies, there can be a mentorship program, where students are introduced to people who are experienced and are out there doing it. Have them be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because again, I know especially in their final year, even though they're working on their final thing, they have a little bit more time on their hands. So I think something like that would
the program is more open now though, because that kind of conversation is actually happening with them. Speaking with industry people, they're interacting.
Because I think I saw
as well. So it's happening.
Rachel and
and how Lennox got into No Hope for Hopi was that Mr. Dawkins came to the final year show. I invited him to the final year show. As I do with all productions, he's always at all the productions, but when he came to the final year show, he saw Lennox and he believed that he found the character, the person he wanted to cast for that particular character. And that's how Lennox ended up in that play. So persons do come to the play.
But the conversation happened, that was a one-off. Because that was him coming and seeing something like I want. But like when you know them, when you have conversations with them,
but they have also come into this space. And this space is open for that. And so, it is something to do. Let us kind of change gears a bit. You are now, so you've moved from being a part of Jamaica Youth Theatre and from being a student to now being somebody with your own theatre company, the Tropics Theatre. I get that right?
Yes.
So tell us about that, how that started, why you decided to do it, where do you see it going?
Oh my goodness. So having in the man of drama school be my alma mater, it's it kind of evoke a lot of ambitions as well. It's you come there, you learn, you take all you can, and you're just this this wealth of knowledge that you leave with. And I graduated with a drama and education BA, and I left and I was teaching for years in school, and through that time, it really cemented my desire to be a teacher. But why it was important for me to still be acting as well is because it was important for me to still be acting as well because I believe it inspired through actions as well. They can teach and be like, guys, come on here, but then they can come and say, sir, I saw you doing this, and that kind of
modeling of it is important.
The modeling of it. So I was doing that, but I want to take it up a notch. So again, I was teaching for years, then I decided to get my master's. I was awarded the Achievement Scholarship. Went to London to do my master's.
We're going to talk about come to that.
Yes,
let's not touch Achievement yet. We're going to talk about Tropics first, and then we'll get into Achievement.
Yeah, so I did my master's, and then coming back, I was like, it was in the pandemic, and I was so discouraged because I'm a guy who liked to teach and see students face to face. So the online thing was, while we have to be, kind of like, adaptable and kind of like versatile, as flexible as teachers, it was really discouraging, and I saw that in my students. I saw that they weren't very, engaged and they were
Right.
kind of demotivated.
Right.
So I decided on the back end of COVID, when it was kind of like phasing out a little bit and we were allowed to meet in groups, I devised a workshop, a speech and drama workshop, with two different age groups, youngsters and older students. And we rented a space, my own resources, my own time. So it was my way of giving back.
Right.
And we started doing that, and we did it for like a month. Just training them in puppetry, in miming, in acting, and different, art, drama conventions and strategies. And then I got the idea to be like, maybe I need to combine this whole thing with a virtual show. We couldn't have live audiences at the time.
Right.
So I was like, okay, and then I devised, we crafted, we construct a show, and then I did a virtual show. We recorded it and we streamed it to their friends and their families, just so they could see what they were up to.
Right.
And I got a really, really good batch of youngsters, especially the older group. Really, really good. It was ages, I think 8 to 21. And I got a really,
that's a range.
so that was generally was 8 to 21, but then
Right.
the older group was 13 to 21.
Right.
And it was so good, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a product of a youth theatre group,
Yes.
so why not? Why not give back in a way that I can give them free, give them access to train, give them training, train that some people pay so much for. Just give back to them and kind of invest in them, and kind of like I woke up, maybe this is legacy time. Maybe I can start narrating my own, and kind of like kind of constructing that my legacy.
Yes.
So I reached out to some of them and I'm like, guys, you want to come back to my group? That you guys are performer, and I kind of manage you guys in a way that give you access to theater and train you guys, have use my resources and my connections with persons in the theater industry to invite them to come and train. They're like, yeah.
Nice.
And they came, and since then we did a production, a whole show, where I took, funny enough, 2 plays that I wrote while I was at drama school. I kind of dusted them off, and I created this a niche show. It was specifically aimed towards high schoolers, called Two Shorts One Stage. So it's 2 short plays, 2 30-minute plays, and it's the same night. So I had like a few of them. So half of the members were in the first play, and half of them was in the second play. And it kind of exceeded what I expected. I just was hoping to do some high school kids, but then it manifested in something where outside people were coming to see it, and then when the show closed, I would play for like 2 weekends, and other persons reach out and like, I heard about the show isn't finished, we'd like to bring some more corporate people, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? But of course, as going back to the thing of exploiting young talent, of course some of them are in association, you can't pay them, but I do a stipend, I do a business plan. Because it's a non-profit, I don't want to say, oh, we make money. So the money is, because I don't need to. God bless me, and I'm doing a thing, and so the money is made from the show, kind of fund by the group. So to buy like T-shirts and for future production, create an account for them. That money is going there. We're not doing something like that, but business like that. But like that, so it's for them.
The money is in the bank, so the money can go
right.
so you can't stay on the road.
Exactly. So it's for them, and to invest in them, and just to see them go on stage and perform. Some of them they've never performed, they all started as strangers. They didn't know each other. I think that was also a turning point. I never know that, as your life goes on, you will still be getting kind of like aha moments, like, whoa, I did this, and it started as something just to help kind of like re-socialize youngsters to now having a whole group, and they have like span of, a chain of command there. They have a president, they have a vice president. They come up with things. We had our dinner last year, we did a charity drive, and we managed to, we've done so, a lot of things in a small time. And I have a lot more planned for them, to do another second production this year, and to, so let them perform other things, and, give them opportunities so they can showcase their talent as well as they can. Just feel like they're part of something, because they're in the WhatsApp group, and sometimes I have to mute the group, the way they chat so much, and they're strangers. We had an audition the other day, we had to welcome like 10 more new members. So it's that thing, Dorraine, I believe in sustaining Jamaican culture. I think that's very important. And I think that will only come from when you have experience or veteran actors who are blazing, kind of like trailblazing and doing the work, kind of guide upcoming thespians.
Amen.
That's what I came to, so I hope to do the same. Aston Coke, Quinta Ferguson, Caroline Allen, kind of Dale Harris taking me under their wings and nurturing me and giving me different opportunities. Changed my life, so I hope to do the same for these youngsters.
Awesome.
So that's what Tropics is, and hopefully
that
you'll hear about us even more.
That is inspiring, and I'm wishing you all the best with that.
Thank
because
you
we
so
don't
much.
have many of those kinds of groups at
True,
all, and so
true
young people
anymore,
need
yeah.
a space. Young people need a space,
That they can
and
access
so
theatre.
that is what you're doing. You're creating that kind of space, and so kudos to you and the team at Tropics, and we're looking forward to great things.
Thank
to see
you.
what's
Thank you
next
all.
on the agenda.